Hi guys, it's Sophie. So you guys are getting an extra video from me this week because I kind of forgot in my video planning stage that today is the Manbooker International Longlist announcement, and I wanted to make a video just telling you what the books are, which ones I'm excited for, and which, if any, I've read. And I'm going to do really short descriptions because I haven't had a lot of time to prep for this video or a lot of time to look into the books yet. So they are going to be overviews, and obviously I do my full reviews on each book after I've read them, so you can have more in-depth thoughts as we go, but for now it's just an overview. So the first one is A Horse Walks into a Bar by David Grossman, and this is a novel about a stand-up comic who's like just starting out in his career, and it's in Israel, so it sounds like it's going to be a really odd thing. I always have in my head that like stand-up comedy is so New York, so I think it would be really funny and really interesting to read about someone who's coming at it with a completely different kind of life view to those who I've sort of heard speak about coming into comedy and stuff. So yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting little novel. I think it's fairly short as well. And the next one is The Unseen by Roy Jacobsen, and this is a Norwegian novel about like a really isolated island community, and talking about how restrictive those kind of communities can be, and what the benefits are as well. And I think it's kind of like a bit of a metaphor for the country as a whole, but as I say, I haven't yet to go into any of them. That's what I'm mega excited for. The next one is Fish Have No Feet by John Kalman Stefánsson. This is one I'd wanted to read for a really long time, and I actually really nearly picked it up recently when I was choosing some books to take with me to Sweden. It's an Icelandic novel, and it just sounded pretty cool to me. The story is about this community who live really close to like a US base, and it's kind of the way that like Iceland's culture and history is affected by this presence, and how it kind of shapes the way that their community lives now. And it's also kind of like, as far as I'm aware, like a family story alongside all of those sort of commentaries. And I just think I think Iceland's such a like gorgeous setting, so I was excited for that one anyway, and I'm really pleased to know I have a really good excuse now to buy that one. And the next one is Bricks and Mortar by Clemens Meyer, and this is described as like a story of sex workers in 1989-1990 Germany, and I find it so intriguing to read about sex work, and it's something that you very rarely get like proper lovely good novels on, and I think from the pictures that the Manbooker put out, this is a chunky novel, so again this is one I'm really excited for. I've actually already ordered this one. I'm really hoping that it is good fun and an interesting look at it rather than it just being kind of exploitative, but we'll see. And the next one is one, again, I already bought this one, and it's called Mirror Shoulder Signal by Dorthe Nors. It's a Danish novel about, among other things, a woman who's trying to learn to drive in her 40s. Now, I don't drive and I am 24, so whilst I'm not quite where she is, I really identify with this. It's like a major plot point. But it's also about her just finding her way around life. I think it should be quite funny from the description I've read, but we will see. I think it's about sort of how females find themselves and about being an older woman, and or like getting older as a woman, because 40 is not old, but you know what I mean, like getting older. So yeah, that's another one that I'm really excited for. I've never heard of it at all. I've never heard anyone talk about it full stop. So yeah, really looking forward to actually seeing how that one pans out. The next one is translated from Spanish, and I actually have heard of this one. I can't remember whose channel I saw it on. It might be Mercedes, but it's called Fever Dream, and it's by Samanta Schweblin. And I'm going to read you a little piece because I think it's just really striking. So the like introductory blurb thing says, a young woman named Amanda lies dying in a rural hospital clinic. A boy named David sits beside her. She's not his mother. He's not her child. Together they tell a haunting story of broken souls, toxins, and the power and desperation of a family. Like, I think that sounds amazing. Yeah, and I heard of that one. I was actually interested in getting it already, but just didn't grab it then and there. But yeah, so another one I'm really glad to have the excuse to read. The next one sounds really weird, and it's kind of intriguing to me, but it kind of freaks me out a little bit as well. It's called Compass by Mathias Enard. And this one is about a guy who, as far as I can tell, has a dream about the Middle East, which I think sounds a bit weird, but I think he's ill. He goes to bed in like this fever dream and tries to piece together all the places he's travelled within the Middle East. It sounds fun, it sounds weird, but I'm a little bit intimidated by it because I think it might be quite experimental in style, and sometimes I feel like that kind of stuff goes over my head a little bit. But we'll see how I get on with it. I haven't bought that one yet, but it is one that I was really close to getting, so probably my next like buy round I will get that one. The next one is a Polish novel that I have actually heard of again, and this one I saw on Simon's channel. It's called Swallowing Mercury by Wioletta Greg, and it's kind of a story about family. It's kind of a story about like Poland as a place, and Simon mentioned that he liked the kind of Polish elements of it more than the like weird elements of it, which kind of gets hinted at in the blurb. I don't think I've ever read a Polish novel. I'm trying to think in my head like who I would have read from, but I can't think that I have. So it should be interesting, and that's one hopefully I'll be able to get my hands on soon as well. The next one is one that as soon as I saw it I thought of Amy from Shout Amy. I think she'd like it. It's called War and Turpentine. It's by Stefan Hertmans. And this one is about this family, I think it's a grandchild, who uncovers his granddad's collection of exercise books that are full of like secrets from World War I, basically. So it's all the stuff that's happened to his family, what's happened in his life. So like he loses someone he loves, and obviously the whole community is kind of being affected by the war. So it kind of this weird like family secret, but also World War One. And I just think that sounded, I think it was World War One. She says. Yeah, World War One. And it's also linked with like art as well. I don't really know how that would fit in, but I quite liked stuff like Do Not Say We Have Nothing by Malien Tien, how that one was linked with music. So I think it kind of sometimes be interesting. It's probably not one I'm going to pick up the first buy round I do, just because I'm not so interested in war novels, but we'll see how I go, and I'm kind of going to keep my ear on the ground I think with that one to see what the response is from other reviewers. The next one is one I think is a really unusual choice for the Manbooker. I don't know why, it doesn't feel from the description like a very Manbookery book. It's called The Traitor's Niche by Ismail Kadare, and it's about the Ottoman Empire essentially, but it's like fairly historical fiction, all about one sultan who's riding around and doing things and trying to take over things. And I'm not so keen to pick it up because I don't read an awful lot of historical fiction. But I'm really intrigued just because the writing must be fabulous, and I'm kind of expecting it to be one of those like quite fun historical stuff, but I don't know that I will pick that one up. We'll see how I get on with the others and how much time I have left, but that's one that's on my like maybe list at the moment. The next one's another one that I may pick up, but actually it's probably going to be one I pick up later, and it's called The Explosion Chronicles, and it's by Lianke, and they had an author, the author had a book in last year's, I'm sure they did, I think it was called The Four Books, which I read, and I quite liked it, but I never really engaged with it fully. So there's a lot that I took from the four books that I remember today and that I think of and that I didn't know beforehand. But it was hard going, and it was one of the ones that slowed my Manbooker International down last year and meant I didn't get as many as I wanted to. So I'm going to hold off of getting to that one until I've read a few more, just because I didn't have the best experience beforehand with that author, but we'll see how I go. Sorry, I'm rubbish, I haven't told you anything about what it's about. Basically, there's this village and their lives are kind of disrupted by this volcano, and as far as I can tell, they kind of slightly relocate, and the village they relocate to grows and becomes this great city. And it's about the generations, I think 4 or 5 generations of people who live there, from like this tiny rural village to like the volcano to like it expanding and becoming this metropolis, and seeing how China's kind of changed over that time period. But I don't know all that much about it. I'm a little bit dubious to pick it up just because I didn't love the 4 books last year. And the next one is one that I'm absolutely dying to pick up. Now, it isn't out yet because I actually tried to buy it this morning as soon as I had the list. So it's called Black Moses by Alain Mabanckou. And it just sounds like it's going to be really informative but also really funny. So it's like a humorous tale set in like, let's see, what did it say? Yeah, so it's set in a port town in the Congo in the 1970s and 80s. It's got like all of the political background to that, but it's also like, it's kind of, they describe it a little bit like Oliver Twist, like it's kind of like this underworld, but kind of, I think, kind of children and kind of like youth and playfulness, like in this really dark scenario, which sounds brilliant and exactly up my street. So yeah, I'm gonna get that one as soon as I possibly can. I might try and get it for review if I can, just so I can have it sooner, but we'll see how that goes. And then the very last one is one that I've already read and absolutely adored. So the last one, I actually didn't even twig that it might have been Manbooker listed, because it just flew under the radar, I think, and I didn't hear anyone else reading about it. Actually, no, that's a lie. Someone on Twitter tweeted about it, but it's Judas by Amos Oz. Now, I loved this book. It was my second favourite book of 2016. I read 200 books in that year. I thought it was pretty much like one of the absolute best books that I read that year, and I'm absolutely thrilled to see it's here. I loved it, and I will probably, again, depending on time, because I have spoken about it already, I might try and reread it just so I've got a full review video. But genuinely, I think it's absolutely fantastic. Really pleased that it's there. But that's the only one of all of them that I've read, so it's really exciting to be able to like buy them and chat about them and find out about sort of what they're all about. Now, I know this has been rushed. I know I don't know as much as I should do about these books, but I've been trying really hard to just summarise a little bit about what they are for you. Let me know in the comments down below which of these you're interested in, if any. I will be pretty fully Manbookering from when I get back from Sweden, so expect that all my Twitter, all my Instagram, everything is going to be Manbookering. So by this time next week. I'm really excited. I'm a little bit nervous because I still remember how hard work it was last time, but I'm going to be doing a review on each and every book that I read. I will be doing a shortlist predictions before the shortlist is announced, and winner predictions before the winner's announced, and I'm going to try and team up with Schweblin and do some videos with her as well. So loads of really good stuff, loads of really good things to get excited for. As I say, let me know which ones you're looking forward to in the comments down below, and I'll see you soon in my next video. Bye guys.